Good day and welcome to our daily news roundup on Atlantic TV. I'm Mike Egobadia. Here are our top stories. Pensioners applaud Bola Ahmed Tinubu over prompt payment of entitlement. Verification begins for Shekiri students under PAP. And APC gains ground in Zamfara State as governor, deputy, defective party. Discos collect 2.3 trillion naira despite persistent power outrage. And on the foreign scene, United States alerts citizens to new terror threats in Nigeria. And on sports, Paul Onuachu scatters 14-year goal record at Transport. Now to the news in full. Retirees of the Federal Civil Service under the umbrella of the Nigerian Union of Pensioners Contributory Pension Scheme has commended President Bola Ahmed Tinubu for prioritizing their welfare. The pensioners gave the commendation during a mega rally held at the mini campus of the University of Ilorin in Ilorin State on Friday, where they praised the current administration for the prompt payment of their entitlement. The rally attracted thousands of members from neighboring states, including Kogi, Ekiti, Osun, Oyo, Edo State, as well as participants from parts of the Southeast. Now, speaking at the event, the Kwara State Chairman of the Union, Harry Omotosho, said the gathering was organized to appreciate the president for what he described as positive steps taken to improve the welfare of retirees. The Director General of the World Trade Organization, Ngozi Okonjo-Iweala, has received the 2025 Global Champion Award from GAIA Africa in recognition of her leadership and contribution to global economic progress. Now, the award was presented in her absence at the GAIA African Grand Pinning ceremony and an award night held at the GAIA House in Victoria Island. Now, presenting the award, the GAIA African founder and chief executive, Olatuwon Johnson, described Okonjo-Iweala as a trailblazer whose leadership continues to inspire women across Africa and beyond. Now, in our sentence message delivered virtually, Okonjo-Iweala expressed appreciation for the honor and commended the organization's effort in advancing women's leadership and economic empowerment. The event also featured the induction of new members into the organization, including Owaomi Tunde Obi. Delivering the keynote address, the Vice Chancellor of the University of Lagos, Folashade Ogunshola, urged women to remain resilient in the face of challenging, noting that perseverance and collective support among women can inspire greater achievements. The sole representative of the Olu of Warri, Ogiame Atuashe III, to Nigerian National Petroleum Company Limited, and its joint venture partners, Prince Collins, Edema, commenced the physical verification of Ishekiri students of the Navena University under the Presidential Amnesty Program, and this exercise is expected to last for about 3 weeks. The exercise is aimed at facilitating the planned payment of school fees for students of Ishekiri extraction whose academic pursuit at the university have been stalled due to financial challenges. Beneficiaries of the programs are earlier notified through text messages asking them to report to the verification venue with the required document as to be successfully cleared. Now, some of the affected students expressed appreciation for the intervention, noting that the payment of their school fees would enable them complete their studies and proceed to the National Youth Service Corps program, paving the way for the next phase of their careers. Officials said that once the verification is completed, the program will settle outstanding tuition and other required academic fees for successful beneficiaries, enabling them to complete their studies and obtain their certificate. Well, the flag of the All Progressive Congress have been hosted at the Zamfara State House of Assembly Government State House, following the defection of Governor Dauda Lawan and his deputy, Manu Mumuni, from the People's Democratic Party, the ruling party. The development was marked by a brief ceremony where the PDP flag was lowered and replaced with the APC flag at the government house in Guzo. Now, confirming the move, the governor's media aide, Nuhu Anka, said the decision followed consultation with political stakeholders and supporters across the state, noting that the defection was in the interest of stability and development in Zamfara. Governor Lawan, who is currently in Saudi Arabia for lesser Hajj, has earlier handed over to his deputy in an acting capacity. The defection strengthens the political interference of the APC across Nigeria, particularly in the northwest region. The entire national chairman of the Labour Party, Nadi Usman, has urged or warned members and supporters to argue among anyone, or rather demanding payment for the party's electronic membership registration, stressing that the process is completely free. Usman gave the warning during the unveiling of the party's e-registration portal in Abuja, with a representative of the Nigerian Labour Congress and the Trade Union Congress of Nigeria in attendance. She explained that the digital registration exercise is aimed at simplifying membership documentation and preparing the party for its upcoming congresses and national convention. Usman added that while members may choose to pay the party's dues through a link in the portal, no payment is required to register as a member. Also speaking, a member of the party's board of trustees, Laysin Osage, dismissed claims of factionalization within the party, noting that interim leadership is focused on organizing congresses and a national convention to usher in a new substantive leadership. Talking business, Nigerian Electricity Distribution Companies, or DISCO, collected about 2.33 trillion in 2025 despite ongoing complaints from customers over erratic supply, estimated billings, and frequent outrage. According to the Nigerian Electricity Regulatory Commission, the marks a 28% increase from the 1.8 trillion naira recorded in 2024. Monthly collections in the second half of 2022 ranged between 190 billion naira to about 210 billion, with ECO Electricity Distribution Company posting the strongest revenue recovery at 99.45%. Yola, Ikeja, Abuja discos also performed strongly, while Bini, Ibadan, Enugu, and Port Harcourt recorded moderate recovery levels. The rising revenue comes amid widespread criticism about discos prioritizing bill over improving service. Analysts know that tariff adjustments have boosted revenue, but have not solved structural challenges in generation, transmission, and also distribution. Experts warn that without simultaneous infrastructure improvement, higher collection may not lead to better electricity supply for Nigerians. Still talking business, the National Sugar Development Council and the Bank of Industry has launched a 10 billion naira sugar project acceleration fund to support greenfield sugar projects across Nigeria. The funds aim to provide financing, technical guidance, and advisory support to help projects become bankable and accelerate the development of sustainable collective sugar industry. Speaking at the launch, NSDC CEO Kamal Baki stressed that capital alone is not enough. Project must meet rigorous technical, financial, and environmental standards of quality. BOI, represented by Hadiza Shaibu, will manage the fund, overseeing credit, appraisal, risk management, loan disbursement, and monitoring, while emphasizing skill development alongside financing. Other businesses engaged in sugar or related activities are eligible for support, with firms like Each Sugar, Brit Foods, and Crystal Sugar among the potential beneficiaries. We need to go on the break now, but when we come back, more news, of course, the foreign scene as well as sport. Join us.
Don't miss out on exciting news, events, and more. Stay connected by following us on Facebook, YouTube, and Instagram at Atlantic Media and TV.
Welcome back now to know you're still there. The United States Embassy in Nigeria has issued a security alert warning of possible terrorist threat against United States facilities and U.S.-affiliated schools in the country. In a notice posted on Monday, the embassy advised American citizens to exercise heightened vigilance when visiting the offices in Abuja and Lagos, as well as the U.S.-linked schools. Citizens were urged to vary travel times and routes, avoid predictable routines, stay alert in public spaces, and keep mobile phones charged for emergencies. The U.S. Embassy in Abuja informs U.S. citizens of possible terrorist threats against U.S. facilities and U.S.-affiliated schools in Nigeria. Take additional precaution, including varying times and routes when traveling. The statement read, the alert comes amid heightened global tension following U.S. and Israel strikes on Iran, which have prompted missile and drone strikes across the region, as well as local protests in Nigeria by members of the Islamic movement. The embassy did not disclose the source of the threat. American citizens in Nigeria advised to remain vigilant, avoid crowds, and follow all recommended security measures. Still on the foreign scene, Australia is sending military support to the Gulf amid escalating tensions with Iran. Prime Minister Anthony Albanese announced that a long-range E-7A Wed-Tilheg surveillance aircraft, along with 85 personnel, will be deployed to help secure airspace in the region for the next 4 weeks. In addition, Australia will supply advanced medium-range air-to-air missiles to United Arab Emirates following a call between Albanese and UAE President Mohammed bin Zayed Al Nahyan. The deployments are aimed to defending Gulf nations and protecting the estimated 24,000 Australians living in the UAE and tens of thousands across the Middle East. Albanese emphasized that the mission is a defensive, with no Australian troops being deployed to Iran and no offensive actions planned. Meanwhile, some 2,600 Australians have already left the Middle East since last week, though challenges remain for those still in the region. The announcement has drawn criticism from Greens Senator Larissa Waters, who warned that Australia risks being drawn into another US-led conflict, citing past military engagement in Afghanistan and Iraq. Separately, Albanese confirmed that 5 members of the Iranian women's football team visited Australia for the 2026 AFC Women's Asia Cup in Queensland have been granted humanitarian visa and moved to safety with the help of the Australian Federal Police. And on sport, Paulo Noachu continued his sensational form at Transasport with a Monday scoring twice in the 3-1 win over Trabzonspor to break a 14-year club scoring record in Turkish Super League. The Nigerian striker opened the scoring just before halftime with a powerful header and later converted a penalty to secure the victory. His brace made him the first Transasport player since Barak Yilmaz in the 2011 to 2012 season to score in 7 consecutive league matches. Anuachu has now scored 22 goals and provided 2 assists this season, accounting for nearly 40% of Transasport's 51 goals in the league, keeping the club in the title race and in contention for the next season's UEFA Champions League. The scoring streak spanned 9 consecutive appearances across league and super competitions, highlighting his pivotal role in the team's success. And still talking sport, the Emirates Football Cup quarter-final draw has set up some mouth-watering ties for the weekend of April 4th, 2026. Manchester City will clash with Liverpool in what promises to be one of the most engaging anticipated matches of the round. The draw was conducted on Monday ahead of the 5th round tie between West Ham and Brentford at the London Stadium, with former FA Cup winners Joe Cole and Joe Hart overseeing proceedings. The Guan side Port Vale, fresh from a victory over Sunderland the previous round, will travel to Chelsea at the Stamford Bridge, aiming to cause an upset against the Premier League giants. Meanwhile, Championship side Southampton would host Arsenal at St Mary's in another exciting fixture. The fourth quarter-final tie will feature the winners of West Ham United vs Brentford match taking on Leeds United in an all-Premier League showdown. The exact schedule for the quarterfinals will be confirmed after consultation with club, broadcast partners, and local authorities, but fans can already look forward to an action-packed weekend of FA Cup football featuring some of England's biggest teams and existing underdog stories. Well, that sporting news brings us to the end of the news. I remain Michael Gobadio. Bye for now.